Hey railheads, welcome back to my Finger Lakes Railway layout. I'm doing a second Lake Erie SGLR car. Now, these are regulars on the HW2. Hey, thanks to Paul Stamp, he's Tierline Customs on YouTube, for the prototype drone shot. It was taken last winter in the Hemrod Yard. Hey, so let's have some fun coming up on my Finger Lakes Railway layout. I'm starting out with an oil paint pin wash to get the details to pop a little. A nice thing about oil paints, they take forever to dry, so your washes last a good while on your palette. Of course, the downside is it takes longer to dry between coats. I'm just wetting the surface down with some thinner first so the oils will flow better. I just let the wash flow down the seams, and you can come back later with a cotton swab or a brush and some thinner and clean it up. A quick and easy fade with Pan Pastel's colorless blender. To get that kind of orange color going now. Adding some grime and dust. Time for some graffiti. These Blair line laser cut graffiti decals are the best I've seen so far. They're easy to cut out. You just cut a couple tabs, and they lay right down flat over the ribs and irregular surfaces. Since the prototype doesn't show any graffiti on the door, I'll cut this decal in two and put it on each side of the door. Now, after I filmed this, but before I published it, James McNabb posted a good review on these decals. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, these are a different brand of decals that I had on hand. Oil paints on a sponge this time for the paint chips. Washes on a little makeup applicator now. Just apply thinner to taste. I'll use pens to add tags and also kind of age and weather the graffiti decals. Adding a light oil wash to the lower half of the car sides. Straight oil paint for the roof. I put some on a piece of cardboard to let the excess oils leach out. I think that helps it to dry quicker. I just brush some on and then go back and stipple it to remove the brush marks. And now for the patches. Happy with how the roof looks. Use 2 colors of micro-scale trim film to match the prototype and stencil Gothic letters and numbers. I cut out a piece of the black trim film to fit between the ribs and give it about a 10-second soak and then let it sit on a paper towel for a minute. Same as before, a little micro set. And slide the decal on. I haven't mentioned a gloss coat because I didn't use one. I think the key is to use the micro set and then roll the makeup sponge over the decal to get the liquid out from under it. There's an article in the November Railroad Model Craftsman by M.R. Snell. On page 56 he talks about decaling over a flat coat. Some of his method is a little different than mine. And of course some micro sol to help the decals stay put. Don't use the sponge for this step though. The red bottle, it really softens the decals, so don't try to make any adjustments here. I got the patches done. Now for the tiny decals on the car ends. Got a little strip of trim film here. White letters on a white background, that doesn't film well, but you get an idea of the size. I needed a way to hold the car ends up where I could work on them. I'm using a damp cotton swab to pull the decal off the backing paper here. Touch of the blue bottle. People do this in N scale, I wonder. I'll tone down the decals a little bit now. When I rattle can my flat coat over the pan pastels, I hold the can at least 18 inches from the model and kind of let it float onto the surface so I don't blow all my weathering away. Well, we're getting towards the end now, just a few more steps to go. Time to swap out these couplers for some Cadies. clip the trip pins like I always do. This model came with plastic wheel sets, so I want to replace them. I'm going to steal these off of this old Cargill grain hopper. They're already weathered too, so that's a bonus. Hey, the trucks won't screw on. And here's why. The different screws. I didn't have the screws I needed, so I just stuck the old metal wheels into the original trucks. Needed to weather the trucks. I start with a shot of Rusto camo. While the trucks are drying, I'll paint the couplers. Back to the trucks. I kind of dry brush some oil paints first. Then I'll work some pastels in while the oil is still wet. I'll let them dry overnight and then flat coat them. Hey, the trucks fit now. All right. Well, I think these cars look pretty good on my layout. I know the doors are wrong, but I think I've captured the personality of the cars, and that's what I set out to do. I hope you all enjoyed it, maybe even picked up a tip or two. Hey, I'll see you next time on my Finger Lakes Railway Layout.